The champagne flute shattered against the hardwood floor of our Brooklyn brownstone, shards exploding like the fragments of my heart. "I'm tired, Caleb," Henry whispered, his voice cracking under the weight of 7 years we'd built together. His blue eyes, once my anchor, now drifting like storm clouds over the East River. In that instant, as the fizzing liquid pooled at my feet like spilled dreams, I knew our anniversary dinner wasn't a celebration. It was a eulogy. It had started as the perfect night, the kind we'd scripted 1,000 times in our heads during those early, fumbling days. 7 years since that rainy June afternoon in 2018, when Henry, fresh-faced barista with a southern drawl that still lingered like sweet tea, and I, wide-eyed graphic designer chasing gigs in the village, locked eyes over a spilled latte at a Washington Square cafe. He'd wiped the foam from my shirt with a grin that said, "This mess? It's fate." We'd laughed, flirted, and by midnight, we were tangled in his tiny Hell's Kitchen walk-up, whispering promises against sweat-slicked skin. That was us, impulsive, electric, unbreakable. New York had been our canvas. We painted it with late-night walks across the Brooklyn Bridge, hands intertwined under the neon haze, dodging tourists and dreaming of the loft we'd one day call home. Henry, with his journalism degree from NYU gathering dust while he slung coffee and chased freelance gigs, had this way of seeing stories in everything: the graffiti on a subway car, the drag queens belting show tunes in the East Village. I'd sketch him then, charcoal smudges on my fingers, capturing the curve of his jaw, the way his laugh lines deepened when he talked about exposing corruption in City Hall. "You're my muse," I'd say, and he'd pull me close, murmuring, "And you're my revolution." We moved in together after a year, pooling our pennies for a shoebox in Williamsburg. Ramen nights turned into rooftop barbecues with our queer found family, Javier the theater kid, always quoting Sondheim, Mia, the fierce lawyer who'd officiate our hypothetical wedding someday. Pride parades became our religion, rainbow flags whipping in the wind as we'd scream anthems from the float, Henry's voice hoarse from chanting, "Love wins." By year 3, we'd upgraded to this brownstone in Bed-Stuy, this creaky stairs a testament to our climb. I landed a steady job at a design firm in Soho. Henry finally broke through with a piece on housing inequality that got picked up by The Atlantic. We were living the American gay dream, flawed, fierce, and ours. But cracks had spiderwebbed in silently. Work swallowed us. My deadlines bleeding into dawn, his late meetings that smelled faintly of cologne not his own. We'd argue over little things, whose turn it was to unload the dishwasher, why he scrolled Grindr just to see who's out there, when I caught him one tipsy Tuesday. "It's harmless, babe," he'd insist, that boyish charm disarming me every time. I'd forgive because forgiving was our rhythm, because 7 years meant we'd earned the grace of doubt. Tonight, though, grace ran dry. I'd planned it meticulously. Candles flickering on the reclaimed wood table, a playlist of our songs, Frank Ocean's Thinkin' 'Bout You crooning low, from that first road trip to the Cape. Lobster thermidor from the market on Atlantic Avenue, because Henry loved how it cracked open, revealing the tender heart inside. I even wore that navy button-down he said made my hazel eyes pop, the one from our anniversary in Napa, when we toasted under vineyard stars and he dropped to one knee. Not with a ring, but with a key to his future, etched with "Forever starts here." He came home late, tie loosened like a noose half-tied, his blonde hair disheveled from the October wind. "Rough day," he muttered, pecking my cheek before sinking into the armchair, scotch in hand before I could pour the bubbly. I laughed it off, plated the food, dimmed the lights, But as we clinked glasses, his smile faltered, eyes fixed on the fizz like it held some secret verdict. "Happy anniversary, Hen," I said, leaning in for the kiss that always reignited us. He turned his head, lips brushing my ear instead. "Caleb, I'm tired." The words hung there, heavier than the traffic hum outside. Tired? Of what? The commute from his new editor gig at the Post. The therapy we'd half-assed after my mom's passing last winter? Or us? "Tired of pretending," he clarified, voice barely above the jazz saxophone winding from the speakers. "This routine. The fights. The silences. I love you, God. I do. But it's like we're ghosts haunting our own life." My fork clattered against porcelain. Ghosts? We'd buried our dead. My mom to cancer, his dad to a heart attack that left him orphaned at 22, and risen stronger, or so I'd thought. "What are you saying?" I pressed, heat rising in my chest like the steam from our plates. He rubbed his temples, the gesture I'd once found endearing now a prelude to demolition. "I need space. To figure out who I am without this weight." Space. In New York, space was a luxury we couldn't afford. Sublets cost a kidney, and our lease was ironclad. But he meant more than square footage. He meant freedom from the vows we'd never formalized but lived like scripture. My mind reeled to the grinder pings, the networking drinks with that hotshot photographer from his office. Was this the out he'd been scripting? The flute slipped from my numb fingers, exploding on impact. Wine sprayed his slacks like accusation. He flinched, but didn't move to comfort me, didn't even stand. I bolted then, grabbing my jacket from the hook by the door, the one with the leather patch he'd sewn on during our quarantine sewing phase. "Fuck you, Henry," I spat, the door slamming behind me like a guillotine. The stairs blurred under my boots, the streetlights smearing into halos as I stumbled toward the F train. 7 years, reduced to echoes in an empty hall. The subway rattled me deeper into the night, each jolt a reminder of how we'd once pressed against graffiti-scratched poles, whispering filthy nothings on the ride home from Fire Island. Now, alone in the fluorescent glare, I stared at my reflection in the grimy window, 35 going on shattered, hazel eyes red-rimmed, stubble shadowing a jaw clenched tight. Where to go? Javier was in rehearsal till midnight. Mia was in DC for a case. My phone buzzed. Texts from Henry. "Babe, come back. We can talk." "I'm sorry." I silenced it, thumb hovering over block before retreating. "Not yet." I ended up at the Stonewall Inn, that sacred relic where it all began for us queers. Pushed through the velvet rope. The thump of bass hit like a heartbeat I thought I'd lost. Bodies swayed under disco balls, a kaleidoscope of leather vests and glittered cheeks. I ordered a whiskey neat, the burn grounding me as I scanned the crowd. Not for a hookup, but for ghosts of what was. That's when I saw him. Not Henry, but a echo tall, blonde, laughing with a group by the bar. My stomach twisted. Coincidence? Or had Henry been here, scouting escapes while I planned our toast? The whiskey soured. I drained it, signaled for another. By the third, the room spun, memories flooding like the Hudson at high tide. We'd met here too. Indirectly, our first date was a drag brunch blocks away, but we ducked in after for one drink that turned into dawn. Henry had spun me on the dance floor, his hands on my hips like they owned the rhythm. "You're mine now," he'd growled, nipping my earlobe. "Mine." The word tasted like ash now. Hours blurred. A cute twink with sleeve tattoos bought me a shot. His flirtation a bomb I rejected gently. Bad night? He asked, empathy in his coal-lined eyes. Anniversary, I slurred. 7 years down the drain. He nodded. No judgment. Happens to the best of us. But New York's full of second acts. Second acts. Broadway wisdom from a stranger. I laughed, bitter, and slipped out into the chill, the city alive with sirens and steam vents. My feet carried me to the bridge, that iron vein connecting boroughs like the one Henry and I had forged. I leaned on the railing, wind whipping my collar, the skyline a jagged promise. Manhattan glittered, indifferent. What now? Crash at a motel? Swallow pride and Uber home? The phone buzzed again, voicemail this time. Henry's voice. Raw. Caleb, please. I didn't mean. God, I fucked up. Come home. Home. The word anchored me, even as it repelled. I deleted it, hailed a cab instead. Not to Brooklyn, but to my old spot in the village, subletting from a college buddy who'd ghosted on rent. The cabbie eyed me in the rearview. Rough night, pal? You have no idea, I muttered, watching brownstones blur into a watercolor of regret. The sublet was a time capsule, futon sagging under dust bunnies, posters of Basquiat peeling at the edges. I collapsed onto it, the springs groaning like my soul. Sleep came fitful, dreams of Henry's hands, tender, then treacherous, chasing me through fog-shrouded alleys. Dawn crept in gray, coffee bitter on my tongue as I scrolled our photos. That Napa proposal key, pride floats, Christmas in the Rockies with his sister's kids piling on us like puppies. By noon, resolve hardened. I'd left. Yes, but leaving wasn't ending. Not yet. I texted Javier. Crashed at yours? Need a couch. His reply pinged instant. Doors open. Drama king. Bill. Javier's Bushwick loft smelled of patchouli and fresh paint, canvases leaning like drunken soldiers. He enveloped me in a bear hug, his Puerto Rican warmth a lifeline. Mijo, you look like shit. Henry finally pulled the pin, over takeout empanadas. I unloaded the dinner, the words, the shatter. Javier listened, dark eyes sharp, then sighed. 7 years ain't nothing to toss. But if he's tired of you, maybe he's tired of himself. Remember my ex, Marco? Same song. Space, he said. Found space in some twink's bed. The seed planted, doubt blooming into suspicion. Had Henry cheated? Those late nights. The deleted texts I'd glimpsed once. My gut twisted. What do I do? Javier shrugged, pouring sangria. You fight or you fly. But don't ghost yourself in the process. Fight. The word echoed as I borrowed his spare room, unpacking a overnight bag into drawers that smelled of lavender. Days bled into a week, me dodging Henry's calls, burying in freelance sketches at a cafe on Knickerbocker. The city pulsed on, oblivious, joggers in Prospect Park, vendors hawking chestnuts on Fifth. I ran too, literally, pounding pavement along the East River, lungs burning as if I could outpace the ache. Then, the bomb dropped. Mia called from D.C., voice hushed like a confessional. Caleb, honey, I heard from a source at the post. Henry's been seeing someone. That photographer, Alex, the one with the abs for days. My world tilted. Alex, tall, chiseled, the kind of guy who posted shirtless hikes on Insta. I joked about him once, Henry laughing too quick. It's nothing, Mia soothed. But if it's true, you deserve better. Betrayal, sharp as glass in my veins. I hung up, stormed to the nearest bar, a dive on Myrtle with sticky floors and a jukebox crooning Patsy Cline. Shots lined up like soldiers. By midnight, I was dialing Henry, rage slurring my words. Alex? Really? On our anniversary? Silence. Then his gasp. Caleb, where are you? It's not. Save it. Click. Blackout. Woke to a pounding head and Javier's concerned frown. A trash bin nearby mercifully empty. You Ubered home raving about vengeance. Easy. Tiger. Vengeance? No. Clarity. I blocked Henry. Dove into work. A mural commission for a queer youth center in Harlem. Vibrant strokes of defiance. Colors bled. Electric blues for resilience. Fiery reds for fury. It was therapy, pixels and paint mending what words couldn't. 2 weeks in, the city felt like a stranger's skin, too tight, too alive. I avoided our haunts. No more bagels at Essa Bagel. No lingering in McCarran Park where we'd picnicked with cheap rose. Instead, I found solace in AA meetings, not for booze, but the stories of reinvention. A grizzled vet spoke of losing his partner to AIDS in the 80s, rebuilding from ashes. Grief's a thief, he said, but it leaves room for grace. Grace. Could I extend it? Henry's texts piled up. Unread. I miss your laugh. Please, let's talk. I love you. Love. The word mocked me. Then, the knock came. Javier's door. Late October Eve. Leaves skittering like secrets. I opened it, heart hammering. There stood Henry. Disheveled. I shadowed. Holding a bouquet of wilted daisies, the flower from our first bouquet. Caleb, he breathed, stepping forward like I might vanish. I can't do this without you. He looked wrecked, the daisies trembling in his grip, petals shedding like confessions on Javier's welcome mat. Henry's usual polish, crisp Oxford, gelled hair was gone. He wore a faded Mets hoodie from our spring training trip to Port St. Lucie, jeans frayed at the hems from too many laundromats. His blue eyes, bloodshot and pleading, locked on mine, and for a split second, I was back in that cafe, foam on his apron, the world narrowing to his crooked smile. But the spell cracked. Get out, I said, voice steel despite the quiver in my chest. Javier hovered in the kitchen doorway, arms crossed, a silent sentinel. Caleb, please, just hear me. Henry's words tumbled, desperate. I was wrong. Stupid. Tired isn't you. It's me, my head, the pressure from work, from everything. Alex, the name sliced the air, venomous. Mia's intel burned fresh. I'd stalked the photographer's feed that morning, heart sinking at shirtless selfies captioned, chasing light in the concrete jungle. Likes from Henry's account, timestamps matching those meetings. He flinched, bouquet wilting further. It was nothing, a flirtation, drinks after a shoot. I swear, it never went further. I was lost, babe, drowning in deadlines and doubts. But leaving you, that's my real regret. Doubts. The word echoed our fights, those midnight marathons where he'd pace the brownstone, ranting about imposter syndrome at the post, how covering evictions made him question his own stability. I'd hold him then, tracing tattoos on his back, the rainbow infinity from our 3rd anniversary ink session in the Lower East Side. You're enough, I'd whisper. Apparently, not anymore. Javier cleared his throat. Time's up, amigo. Caleb needs space, the kind you apparently crave. Henry's gaze flickered to him, then back, imploring. 1 minute. For us. Against my better judgment, I stepped onto the stoop, door ajar like a lifeline. The air nipped crisp, carrying scents of street falafel and distant rain. 1 minute, I conceded, arms folded against the chill seeping through my flannel. He exhaled, ragged. These past weeks. Hell. The brownstone's a tomb without you. Your sketches on the fridge. The way you hum while brushing your teeth. Can't sleep. Can't write. Alex, a mistake. A symptom. I told him it's over. Blocked him. But losing you is the wake-up. Symptom. Clinical. Like our issues were a flu he'd shake. And the tired speech? On our anniversary. You gutted me, Henry. 7 years. And you pick lobster night to bail. His face crumpled. Tears carving tracks down stubbled cheeks. I panicked. Thought space would fix me. Make me better for us. But it's you, them's the fix. Remember Joshua Tree? That meteor shower. Us in the tent. Talking till dawn about adopting someday. Raising kids in this mad city. I did. Vivid. Stars wheeling overhead. His head on my chest. Fingers laced as we plotted a future with scraped knees and bedtime stories. Yeah. I murmured. Throat tight. And now I fight. For us. He thrust the daisies forward. Bruised but blooming. Come home. Please. The plea hung, fragile as the stems. Part of me yearned, the muscle memory of his touch, the rhythm of our mornings with NPR and strong coffee. But betrayal's scar throbbed. Not yet. I need time. He nodded, defeated, backing away. I'll wait. However long. His cab taillights faded down the block. Red eyes in the dusk. Javier pulled me inside, thrusting a beer into my hand. You did good, holding the line. But damn, he looked sincere. The word haunted my dreams that night, Henry's silhouette merging with nightmares of Alex's grin. I tossed. Sheets twisted like our sheets once were, in passion, not pain. Morning brought resolve therapy. I dragged my feet before, post-mom's death. But now, non-negotiable. Dr. Lena's office in Chelsea overlooked the High Line, vines snaking up brick like veins healing. A no-nonsense dyke in her 50s with a buzz cut and zero bullshit. She leaned forward, glasses perched low. Tell me about the shatter, Caleb. I did, the flute, the words, the flight. She nodded, jotting notes. Betrayal's a thief, but so is avoidance. What do you want? From him? From you? The question gnawed as I wandered the High Line post-session. Autumn leaves crunching underfoot. Tourists snapping pics of wildflowers reclaiming rail tracks. What did I want? Revenge? Oblivion? Or the man who'd once mapped my stars? Work became salvation. The Harlem mural expanded. Queer icons in bold lines, Sylvia Rivera fierce, Marcia P. Johnson radiant, surrounded by diverse youth holding hands, defying shadows. Parents paused, kids pointing. Look, Daddy, they love like us. One dad, burly with a rainbow pin, clapped my shoulder. This? It's hope. Hope. Slippery, but stirring. Evenings, I cooked for Javier. Spaghetti carbonara. His abuela's recipe, swapping stories over Chianti. He confessed his own scars, a coming out that cost him his evangelical family, rebuilt in NYC's embrace. "We queers," he said, twirling pasta, "we're alchemists. Turn lead to gold. Gold. Like the ring we'd window shopped at Tiffany's, joking about eloping to Vermont." I texted Mia. "Snooping confirmed?" Her reply whispers only. "Confront him. Confront." The word loomed as November chilled the air. Scarves mandatory for subway blasts. I unblocked Henry, sent a curt, "Coffee. Neutral ground. Saturday, 10 a.m. Joe Coffee on 7th. His reply, there. "Thank you." Saturday dawned brittle, frost etching brownstone windows like lace. I layered up, wool coat from our Black Friday splurge, and trekked to the village, boots splashing puddles from overnight drizzle. Joe buzzed with laptop warriors and stroller brigade, the scent of fresh grounds a bitter comfort. Henry waited at a corner table, 2 lattes steaming, his posture rigid as a fresh recruit. He stood when I approached, awkward hug aborted mid-air. We sat, knees brushing under the scarred wood, a spark I ignored. "Thanks for coming," he started, stirring foam into oblivion. "Talk," I said, flat. "No games." He swallowed, eyes down. Alex was an escape. Work's brutal, the layoffs, the pressure to break stories. I felt invisible, like our life was a script I couldn't ad-lib. One night, after a gallery opening, drinks happened. Kisses, too. But I stopped it, every time. Came home to you, guilty as sin. Guilty. The admission landed like a gut punch, but his voice, raw, unvarnished, cracked my armor. "Why not tell me? We could've fought together." "Pride," he admitted, sheepish. "The American dream bullshit, provide, protect. Didn't want you seeing me weak. Weak. The myth we'd both bought. Men don't crack, especially gay men in a world still side-eyeing our unions." I sipped, scalding. "It broke trust. Henry. Shattered it." "I know." He slid a folder across, therapy notes, his scrawled apologies in margins. "Seeing Dr. Raj now. Twice a week. Learning to voice the mess before it festers. Effort. Tangible, unlike vague tireds. My resolve wavered. And us? If I come back, rebuild. Date nights. No phones. Couples counseling. Whatever it takes." His hand inched toward mine, hesitant. I let it hover, then pulled back. "Not today," but softer, the edge dulled. "Think on it." We parted with a nod. No embrace, the space between us a chasm, but narrower. Walking home, Chelsea's galleries winked. One exhibit spilling light. Fractured hearts, mended frames. I paused, peered in. Shattered ceramics reassembled with gold seams, kintsugi style. Beauty in breaks. Back at Javier's, I packed slow, deliberate. Not to Brooklyn, not yet. A Airbnb in Crown Heights, a fresh start to breathe. Henry texted, "Proud of you for showing up." "I am too." I replied, "One day at a time." Crown Heights thrummed with Caribbean flair. Juve echoes in my bones from past West Indian Day parades with Henry. Feathers and bass drums. My rental was a sunlit garden apartment. Basil thriving on the sill. Mornings, I jogged to Restoration Plaza, sketching elders on stoops, their stories etched deep as mine. Thanksgiving loomed, a minefield. Javier hosted. Our crew assembled. Mia back from D.C., regaling with Supreme Court tea. A new face. Theo. Javier's set designer crush with a laugh like church bells. Turkey carved. Yams candied. We toasted absentees. My mom, Henry's dad, and presences, like Theo's hand on Javier's thigh under the table. Henry called that night, voice thick. Miss you at the table. Ate alone with takeout lo mein. Families chosen, I said, glancing at my patchwork kin. Found mine. Hurt flickered, but he rallied. Fair. But if there's room. Someday, someday. The door cracked open. Winter gripped NYC. Snow blanketing stoops like forgiveness. My mural unveiled to fanfare. Ribbon cut by a trans councilwoman. Cheers rising as kids traced the figures. Henry showed, uninvited, in the crowd's fringe. Our eyes met. He mouthed stunning, then vanished into the flurry. The gesture lingered. I texted, saw you. Thanks. Couldn't miss your triumph. Triumphs, plural mine, perhaps ours. But scars itched. A hookup app pinged one lonely night. Faceless torso. Anonymous thrill. I swiped. Met a finance bro at his midtown high-rise. All glass and ego. It was mechanical. Release without resonance. Dawn found me fleeing. Shame heavy as the elevators drop. Home. I showered off the regret. Dr. Lena's words echoing. Sex isn't love, but it can teach boundaries. Boundaries. Time to redraw ours. Christmas Eve. String lights aglow on brownstones. Caved. Knocked on our door. His door now, the chime muffled by carols from a neighbor's stoop. Henry answered in flannel PJs. Elf hat askew from solo decorating. Caleb. Truce. I held mistletoe. Pilfered from Javier's tree. One night. No promises. His grin bloomed. Tentative. Deal. The brownstone wrapped us. Fairy lights twinkling. Bing Crosby crooning. Eggnog spiked just right. We cooked. His gumbo from Nola roots. My cornbread from Mom's recipe. Laughter crept in. Tentative. Over burnt roux and spilled spices. On the couch. A rom-com flickered, love. Simon for irony, his head on my shoulder. Familiar weight. Mid-kiss. Tentative. He pulled back. No rush. Just. Glad you're here. We slept apart. But woke tangled. Morning light slanting gold. Stay? He whispered. Breath warm on my neck. Not forever. But longer. Progress. Fragile as snowflakes. New Year's dawned crisp. Resolutions whispered over champagne at a Times Square watch party. Confetti rain. Auld Lang Syne swelling. Henry's arm around me. Tentative. As the ball dropped. To us, he toasted. To trying, I countered. Trying meant mess. Arguments over Alex's ghost. Tears over my trust fractures. But also tenderness morning runs in Central Park. Hands brushing on snowy paths. Date nights at BM. His head on my shoulder during indie flicks. Therapy synced. Dr. Lena and Dr. Raj tag-teaming our sessions. Unpacking the tired as burnout. Betrayal as symptom. Spring thawed us slow. Cherry blossoms dusted the high line. Pink as hope. One April Eve. Post-jog. Henry dropped to the grass. Pulling me down. Marry me? For real this time. The ring simple platinum. Engraved. Forever starts here. Glinted. Echoes of Napa. But earned. Yes, I breathed, sealing it with salt-lipped kiss. But fate's a trickster. May brought Henry's diagnosis, early lymphoma, caught from a routine check. Treatable, Doc said, but the word cancer echoed my mom's ghost. The oncologist's office in Mount Sinai smelled of antiseptic hope, charts on walls mapping battles no one wanted to fight. Dr. Patel, a wiry woman with kind eyes behind wire rims, outlined the plan: chemo cycles, scans, a 90% remission shot. You're young, strong, she assured, glancing between us. Henry gripped my hand, knuckles white, his engagement ring biting into my palm like a vow renewed. Outside, elevator descent felt like freefall. We'll beat this, I said, voice steady for him. Inside, terror clawed, flashes of Mom's last days, her bed a battlefield of tubes and morphine drips, her hand limp in mine as she whispered, "Live bold, baby." Henry nodded, jaw set. Together, but his eyes, those blue anchors, held storms. Homebound, the brownstone morphed. Fridge stocked with ginger chews for nausea, pill organizers lined like sentinels. I quit my firm gig, freelancing full-time to chauffeur him to infusions, where he'd sit hooked to IVs, cracking jokes with nurses about glowing from the inside out. I'd sketch nearby, caricatures of him as a superhero cape of courage, battling villainous cells. Nausea hit hard first cycle. He retched over the toilet, me rubbing his back, murmuring nonsense. Breathe through it, like birthing our future. He'd laugh, weak, then curl into me on the bathroom floor, sweat slick and shivering. Don't let go, he'd plead, and I couldn't. Echoes of our wedding vows from that quiet June ceremony in City Hall, rainbow witnesses cheering as we kissed under the rotunda. Our wedding, a fever dream we'd pulled off in the cancer shadow. Javier officiated, Mia maid of honor in a killer pantsuit, Theo DJing disco anthems in Prospect Park. Vows exchanged under a chuppah borrowed from a Jewish friend, blending traditions like our lives, his Southern Baptist hymns remixed with my secular humanism. In sickness and health, we'd sworn, then danced till dusk. Henry's bald head, pre-chemo precaution shave, gleaming under string lights. Now, health faltered. Hair loss came gradual, tufts clogging the shower drain like autumn leaves. He stared in the mirror one morning, razor in hand. Do it with me? Buzz-cut solidarity, my curls falling beside his stubble. We looked like recruits, mismatched but matched, his finer strands, my thick waves. Sexy rebels, he quipped, pulling me close, our scalps brushing in the fogged glass. Intimacy shifted, tender where once wild. No more marathon sessions against the kitchen counter. Instead, slow explorations by candlelight, hands mapping scars, his port scar like a badge, my faded appendix line a relic. You're beautiful, I'd affirm, tracing his ribs sharpened by weight loss. He'd arch, vulnerable, whispering, "Love me broken?" Especially, I'd reply, because love, we'd learned, wasn't porcelain, it was kintsugi, gold-veined and resilient. But cracks widened elsewhere. Work calls intruded, the Post demanding columns from his sickbed, editors blind to frailty. One more piece, he'd mutter, laptop glowing late, ignoring my pleas. Resentment simmered me, caregiver by default, sketching pitches for clients who cooed sympathy but ghosted payments. One July night, post-second cycle, fever spiked. Our dash at 2 a.m., sirens wailing through sleeping Brooklyn. Delirium set in, Henry thrashing, calling for his dad. Then me, Caleb, don't leave, as if I would. Doctors stabilized, infection quelled, but the scare lingered like smoke. In the sterile room, monitors beeping lullabies, he surfaced groggy. Sorry, first word, horse. For what? Existing? I snapped, exhaustion fraying edges. We'd fought en route, me white-knuckling the wheel, him insisting he was fine, a lie we'd both tired of. For dragging you through this. Tears tracked saline paths. You left once, should have stayed gone. The word stung, anniversary ghosts rising. I came back. Chose us. Don't make me regret it. He reached, for tugged. Never. You're my North Star. Discharge brought fragile normalcy. Smoothies blended with protein powder. Walks to the corner bodega for lotto tickets. His ritual, one win for the road. Neighbors nodded solidarity. Mrs. Kowalski from upstairs dropping Pyragus with notes. Strength, boys. Queer community rallied fundraiser at the Stonewall. Drag queens auctioning custom corsets. Proceeds for treatments. Mia flew in, bunking on our couch. Her lawyer brain tackling insurance mazes. Yet isolation crept. Friends faded. Theo and Javier's invites polite but sparse. The cancer friend label a subtle barrier. Henry's mood swung. Manic mornings planning post-remission trips to the Keys. Depressive dusks staring at walls. Whispering, what if, Dr. Lena mediated. Our session's virtual now. Caregiving's a marathon, she coached. Resentment's normal, name it, don't nurse it. I journaled then, pages filling with rages. Why him? Why now? Followed by gratitudes. His laugh, still here. Our ring, still on. August heatwave baked the city, AC unit wheezing like an old man. Henry's counts dipped, delaying cycle 3. We escaped to the Hudson Valley, Airbnb cabin with screened porch overlooking woods. No chemo haze, just fireflies, s'mores, and stories swapped under quilts. He confessed depths. Boyhood closets in Savannah. First crush on the quarterback crushed by conversion therapy pamphlets. Feared I'd fail you like I failed myself. You didn't, I countered, fire crackling. We're failing forward. Sex that night, gentle, reclaiming, his body yielding, mine anchoring. Afterward, tangled in sheets scented pine, he murmured, adopt after? A kid with your eyes. My stubborn streak. Dreams deferred, but dreamed. Back in Brooklyn, scans glowed promising. Shrinkage, remission whispers. Cheers erupted in the waiting room. Our hug fierce, tears salt on lips. Fall foliage turned fiery, mirroring our spark reignited. Henry shaved words into his regrowth. I am enough buzzed on scalp, a mantra in mirror. I inked a companion on my forearm. We are, needles bite a bond. But November brought shadows. A follow-up flagged anomalies, possible Mets, docs cautious. Biopsy scheduled, waiting game a torture. Henry withdrew, pen idle, columns ghostwritten by guilt. If it's bad, he trailed one eve, wine glass trembling. It won't be, defiant, but dreadnought. The biopsy eve, storm raged, thunder rattling windows like omens. We made love desperate, bodies colliding as if to ward off fate. Climax shattered us open, sobs mingling with sighs. Promise you'll live for me, he gasped, clutching. Always, I vowed. But sleep evaded, rain lashing like lashes. Results day dawned clear. Cruel irony. Dr. Patel's face neutral, then softening. Clear. No spread. Relief crashed. Knees buckling. Henry's wail primal joy. We clung in the hall. Strangers' pats on backs. The world vivid. Fluorescence sharp. Coffee from vending machine ambrosia. Remission party at Javier's. Loft ballooned with balloons. Playlist our hits. Toasts flowed. To Henry, the fighter, he glowed. Hair a velvet fuzz. Arm around me. To Caleb, my rock. My love. Dancing later. Slow sway to Nora Jones. He nuzzled my neck. 7 years plus 1 battle. Ready for more? Bring it. I laughed, spinning him under lights. Winter wrapped us gentle now. Holidays healed. Christmas with his sister in Connecticut. Nieces shrieking over gifts. Turkey carved with toasts to miracles. New Year's on our roof. Fireworks blooming over the skyline. His kiss tasting champagne and forever. Spring 2026 bloomed defiant. Henry's column series, Cancer in the Closet, Queer Voices Unsilenced, earned a Pulitzer nod, platform for stories like his. I launched a design line, Kintsugi-inspired graphics, broken beautiful, our life, repotted. Yet echoes lingered. Anniversary 8 approached. Lobster thermidor off menu, replaced by homemade pasta under stars we'd string ourselves. Tired, I teased, clinking glasses. Never of you, he grinned, pulling me close. But life layers, a positive test that summer pregnancy surrogacy greenlit, our bio kid en route via Mia's cousin. Ultrasounds showed tiny heartbeats, miracles stacked. Through it, love deepened, kisses in chemo's shadow, vows in hospital glows. Betrayal scar faded to silver, reminder not ruin. In America's queer heart, we thrived, dramatic, emotional, romantic, human. The nursery paint fumes clung to our clothes like a promise. Soft yellow walls blooming under rollers as Henry balanced on a ladder. Belly laugh echoing when a drip splattered his brow. Artist's touch, he quipped, dabbing my nose with the brush. 8 months since remission, and here we were, 2 dads-to-be, arguing over crib mobiles, his vote, stars for the meteor dreams. Mine, cityscapes for our concrete roots. The baby, due in December, kicked insistent during our painting sesh. A tiny foot pressing against my palm through the Saget's updates. Feisty like you, Henry said, kissing my knuckles, the ring catching light like a beacon. Life post-cancer was a remix. Louder, leaner, laced with gratitude. Henry's buzzcut had filled to waves, blonde streaks sun-kissed from rooftop lounging. He freelanced now, columns syndicated, voice amplified for queer health equity. Me, my kintsugi line exploded. Merch for Pride. Collabs with Glad. Affording the brownstone's 3rd floor Reno into a nursery. Neighbors threw baby showers. Mia's legal-themed cake. Objection overruled. Diapers await. Javier's piñata bursting rainbow confetti. But under the glow, undercurrents stirred. Alex resurfaced, not in flesh, but pixels. A mutual friend's Insta story, gallery opening, him arm in arm with a new beau, caption healing hues. Henry saw it too, during a late-night scroll. Blocked him ages ago, he muttered, tossing his phone. But tension hummed, old wounds itching. Talk, I prompted, echoing our coffee truce. We sat on the fire escape, city hum below, Fireflies of taxis winking. He sighed, head on my shoulder. Guilt. Seeing him happy. Wonder if I robbed you of that. You didn't. Firm, but fair. We robbed ourselves, silences, not saying the scared shit. But we're saying now. Therapy fortified us. Bi-weekly check-ins with DR. Lena evolving to family prep. Co-parenting scripts. Boundary blueprints. Cancer taught vulnerability, she noted. Use it. Vulnerability peaked at the birth. December blizzard blanketed Brooklyn. But we white-knuckled to the hospital. Surrogate in labor. Holding Henry's hand in the waiting room. Monitors beeping like heart songs. I flashed to his chemo vigils, me gripping him. Now reversed. Our turn to build, I whispered. Elias arrived at dawn. 7 pounds 2 ounces. Cry piercing as a winter wind. Dark fuzz. Hazel flecks in blue eyes our blend. Henry sobbed first. Cradling him swaddled. Whispering, hey, little star. I joined. Tears salt on his scalp kiss. Nurses cooed. Lucky family. Homecoming was chaos. Midnight feeds. Diaper dashes. Elias's wails sinking with garbage trucks. Sleep fragmented. But joy stitched it. Henry's lullabies. Off-key Hush Little Baby remixed with queer anthems. My sketches of his tiny fists, archived for future tales. Paternity leave bonded us deeper. Walks in Prospect Park. Elias bundled in a sling against Henry's chest. Leaves crunching as we swapped dad jokes. Think he'll be a writer or artist? Henry mused, bouncing gently. Both. Like us, storyteller with vision. Pride swelled. But so did fears. World's weight on a queer kid in Trump-era echoes. Rights wobbling like 2024's election hangover. Community buffered. Queer parent group in Park Slope. Playdates with two-mom families. Tips on navigating schools with rainbows unapologetic. Javier became TOJ. Spoiling with custom mobiles. Mia. Auntie M. Prepping trust funds. Yet conflict brewed subtle. Henry's columns turned polemic, exposing pharma gouging on queer health meds, drawing trolls, death threats in DMs. One night, post-feed, Elias dozing in the rocker. He paced. Phone clutched. They call us freaks. Say we don't deserve this. Gesturing to our son. Our life. Fuck him. I growled, pulling him down. We're the freaks who won. Sex rekindled slow. Elias's nursery monitor glowing green. First time postpartum. Tentative bodies changed. Mine softer from stress eats. His marked by scars. But connection surged. Slow grind building to gasps. His name a prayer on my lips. Missed you, he breathed after. Fingers tracing my ink. Missed us. Summer swelled with Elias's firsts. Gummy smiles at Central Park ducks. Chubby hands grabbing Henry's glasses. We road tripped to Provincetown. Rainbow Mecca. Beaches for baby toes in sand. Drag brunches where mimosas flowed and Elias gurgled at sequins. This is it, Henry said. Ocean breeze ruffling our hair. Elias napping in the shade. The dream, but dreams fracture. Fall brought a call. Alex, sober now, reaching out via a mutual apology letter. Seeking amends for harm caused. Henry read it aloud. Voice neutral, but eyes stormy. Want to meet? I asked. No jealousy, curiosity, closure. He hesitated. For me? Or us? Us. Heal the haunt. Coffee at a quiet spot in Williamsburg. Neutral as our truce. Alex arrived changed. Leaner. Tattoo sleeve faded, eyes clear. Henry. Caleb. Thanks for this. No flirt. Just facts, his own rock bottom. Rehab. The kiss as symptom of his chaos. Henry nodded, tense. Hurt us. Bad. I know. Selfish. Alex met my gaze. You built from it. Respect. Closure landed light, but lifting. Driving home, Henry exhaled. Free. Elias's first birthday. Bash in the brownstone. Balloons bobbing. Cake smeared on chins. Toasts to resilience. Mom's memory honored with a tree planted in her name. As Elias toddled into my arms, Henry's flash, 7 years ago, I broke us. Now, we're unbreakable. Unbreakable, but bendable. Toddler tantrums tested. Elias's fevers sinking with deadlines, my freelance drying as economy dipped. Arguments flared, over nursery clutter, Henry's late nights chasing stories. You're disappearing again, I accused one eve. Elias down, dishes piled. He deflated. Trying not to. But the world's on fire, hate crimes up, queers targeted. Fight from home, I countered. We're a team, recommitment. Date nights revived, babysitter Mia on speed dial. Candlelit dinners at home, Elias asleep upstairs, us slow dancing to Coltrane, bodies remembering rhythms. By year 10, Elias in preschool, tiny backpack, waving by with a grin, our rhythm steadied. Henry published a memoir, Tired No More, A Gay Love's Fight for Life, bestseller charts, tours with me and Elias in tow. Readings in San Francisco's Castro, cheers thundering, Q&As where he'd credit me, Caleb's the hero, but high came a shadow Elias's questions. For crayon drawings of my two daddies, then wide-eyed, why do some kids have one mommy? Schoolyard whispers, a classmate's taunt, your family's weird, we field a gentle, books like and tango makes three, talks of love's shapes. But it stung, world's bias seeping in. Henry channeled it, advocacy op-eds, school board runs for inclusive curriculums. Crisis peaked that spring. Henry's scan flagged a blip scar tissue. Benign, but panic flashback. Wait, Elias with Javier, us huddled in gowns. Not again, he whispered, vice grip on my hand. Never alone, I vowed. Clearance brought catharsis. Vow renewal in Napa, vines lush, Elias flower boy tossing petals. Vows updated, through betrayals and battles. I choose you. Rings exchanged anew. Engraved, shattered whole. Elias grew. A whirlwind. Soccer in McCarran. Art classes mirroring mine. Journalism bug from Henry. Tiny notebook for stories. Family trips to Savannah. Henry's roots reclaimed. Grandaunties cooing over that handsome boy. Challenges layered. 2030s floods from climate fuckery. Our brownstone basement ruined. FEMA checks slow. We rallied community rebuilds. Queer mutual aid. Intimacy evolved. Quickies in laundry folds. Lazy Sundays tangled. Anniversary 15. Elias 10. Sassy with opinions. Helping grill steaks in the yard. Henry's toast. From tired to timeless. Love you, Caleb. Love you, echoed. Elias rolling eyes but hugging tight. Humanity's thread. We mended. Not perfect, flawed. Fierce. Forever American in our queer quest. Elias's teenage rebellion hit like a nor'easter. Winds howling through our brownstone at 16. Slams of doors sinking with his eye rolls. Backpack thudding like indictments. You're so last century. He'd scoff at our no screens at dinner rule, earbuds in, blasting hyperpop anthems that made Henry wince. But under the armor, our boy shone, valedictorian trajectory at his Brooklyn tech magnet, debate club champ dismantling anti-LGBTQ plus bills with logic sharper than mine, inherited from his pops. Parenting queers in 2035 America was a tightrope. Rights rollercoaster post-row echoes, state laws flipping like bad coins. We'd armored up, Elias's first pride at 10, marching with us under family defined by love banners. Therapy for him at 12, navigating crushes on a non-binary classmate. It's confusing, he'd admitted, us nodding. Welcome to the club, kid. Henry and I, anchors, weathered. His memoir sequel, Stars in the Scar. Fatherhood After Fire, top charts, funding Elias's college fund. My studio thrived. Kintsugi now a brand. Murals in DC's Smithsonian's. Workshops for trauma survivors. Date nights evolved. Speakeasy jazz in Harlem. Hands laced under tables. Whispers laced with lust. But age crept. Henry at 42. Me 41. Aches in joints from old runs. Silver threading temples. Distinguished, he'd tease, fingers combing my hair during morning coffees. Sex stayed sacred. Slower, savoring, his body familiar map, scars like constellations. Conflict crested Elias's junior year. A school trip to DC, chaperoned, but whispers of a hookup gone south, consent blurry, rumors swirling. Principal's call yanked us from a client lunch. Bully complaint. Your son's involved. Heart stop. Drive to the office. Henry white-knuckled. Me scripting calm. Elias waited. Defiant tears. They said I'm gay by default, 'cause of you too. I kissed Jamie, non-binary. Remember? And they called it freak show. I shoved back. Rage and relief tangled. We hugged him fierce in that sterile room. Principal droning policies. Ice cream ritual. Pride isn't permission, Henry said. Spoon midair. It's protection. You did right defending. But violence. I tempered. Arm around. Self-defense, Elias shot. Then softened. Sorry. Scared you'll think I'm broken. Never, we chorused. Therapy tripled. Family sessions unpacking generational trauma. Henry's closet. My mom's silence on her bisexuality unearthed in letters post-death. Healing hummed. Elias came out fluid pan. He labeled, dating a poet from Poetry Slam. We hosted awkward dinners. Her Zoe, them's pronouns fluid. Tattoos blooming like mine. Henry grilled veggies just right. Me charming with dad jokes. Love's a spectrum, we'd affirm, echoing our spectrum. Betrayal's ghost revisited subtly. Henry's post-gig soured. Editor outing a source in a scoop, queer activist. Doxed. Fallout. Protests at the office. Henry resigning in solidarity. Integrity over ink, he declared. But nights he paced. Whiskey neat. Muttering. Failed again. I pulled him to bed. You're human. We all fail forward. Freelance bridged. But strain showed arguments over bills. Elias's college apps looming like monsoons. One blizzard night. Power out. Candles flickering. Elias at Zoe's. We cracked open the good scotch. Remember the shatter? Henry mused. Flames dancing on his face. Flute shards and all. Laugh bittersweet. Best mistake. Led here. Climax brewed that spring. Elias's acceptance to NYU. Full ride. Journalism track. Celebration dinner at Peter Luger, steaks sizzling. But midway, his phone buzzed. Deferral needed. Mental health break. Overwhelmed, he confessed. Fork down. The world's heavy climate shit. Rights rolling back. Feel like I gotta fix it all. Echoes of Henry's burnout. We listened. No fixes. Your pace, kid. World's big. You're enough. He stayed local community college. Interning at a queer zine. Growth. Gritty. Our empty nest loomed. Elias dorm-bound at 19. Last family vacui. Road trip Route 66 Redux. Elias shotgun. Zoe virtual tag-along. Stops at queer landmarks, Stonewall homage. Chicago's Boys Town bar crawl, sodas for him. Under desert stars in Arizona. Tent zipped. Henry and I slipped away. 15 years, he whispered. Hands roaming. Still electric. Always, I gasped. Sand shifting beneath. Elias's launch. Dorm drop-off. Brooklyn tech ghosts in the village. Hugs lingered. His love you. Dad's cracking us. Driving back. Silence thick. Henry's hand on my thigh. Empty echo. We fill it. Intent clear. Rediscovery. Salsa classes in Union Square. Hips swaying loose. Weekend getaways to the Catskills. Hikes ending in hot tubs. Steam rising like desires. Sex reignited wild, roleplay nods to early days. Him as barista. Me spilling latte on his apron. But humanity's curve. Henry's checkup flagged fatigue, thyroid. Treatable. But biopsy weight a echo of old fears. We held vigil. Me sketching his profile in the exam room. Strong lines unbowed. Clear. Again. Party small. Javier. Mia. Elias FaceTiming from dorm. Toasts to tenacity. Anniversary 20. Elias home. Grad school bound. Toasting us at rooftop, city sprawl our kingdom. Henry's speech. From tired to timeless. Betrayal to unbreakable. Caleb, you're my plot twist. My happy end. Laughter. Tears. Elias. Gross. But goals. Later. Alone on the roof. Stars pricking velvet sky. We slow danced. No music but pulse. Regrets? I asked. Cheek to his. None. You. Only not sooner. Kiss sealed. Deep. Promising eternities. Years layered. Elias's wedding at 28 to Zoe. Now they slash them poet laureate in our garden. Vows under the oak we planted for mom. We danced. Graying but grinning. Henry's arm steady. Grandkids came, twins. Riley and Jordan. Non-binary chaos at 3. Climbing our knees. Henry's stories enthralled. My sketches immortalized their mischief. Retirement whispered. Henry podcasting queer histories. Me mentoring at youth centers. Mornings. Coffee shared. Hands wrinkled but laced. On anniversary 30. Brownstone sagging but standing. Elias's kids piling in. Chaos joyful. Henry pulled me aside. Tired? Never. Grateful. Always. I smiled. Tracing his lines, laughs etched deep. Me too. In America's beating heart. Flawed. Fierce. Free. We'd woven a tapestry. Dramatic falls. Emotional rises. Romantic rebounds. Human to the core. From shatter to shine. Our story. Love wins. Not once. But woven through every thread.